Okay, thoughts on Santa. Santa Claus. Well, I'm going to have to admit that Santa is real. I know, I know. I thought it was a bunch of baloney, but nope, Santa is real. And his practice is real, and the spirit by which he practices is real. So, Saint Nick, Nicholas Claus, Santa Claus. Saint Nick was a patron of travelers. Patron of travelers. Patron, father, pattern, pater, padre, source, model, father, supporter of travelers. And it made me think of that Bible verse, or a couple Bible verses in not in Ezekiel. What's that? Leviticus. It talks about in there, it says, when the sojourner, the traveler, allow the traveler to pass through your midst. It's a command to the Israelites. Allow the sojourner to pass through unharmed. Offer the sojourner rest. Do not press the sojourner to work. Do not wrong the sojourner. Do not take from the sojourner, the traveler. And as a matter of fact, give him rest. Give him or her rest. Give them food. And do not accept pay for it. And when they are to travel on, you make sure they have everything they need so that they don't go hungry by any fault of yours. It's amazing. A lot of these work for stay, they got like work for stay groups or something, and some of them are along the Appalachian Trail and other places like that. Well, that's all fair if you don't claim to follow the God of Israel or the God of Gentiles now also, If you don't claim to follow that God, well, yeah, you should, you should work go ahead and impose that upon a weary traveler. But if you claim to serve the God of the Bible, I'm not saying, like ultimately there's a bunch of laws in there. And what is it? You try to obey all the laws and are guilty of one, and you're guilty of the whole law, but love fulfills the law. And that one about the sojourner, taking care of them, welcoming them in your midst, making sure they're safe, rested, well fed, do not press them to service, don't wrong them. That's love. I remember there was some YouTuber, he was a hiker, and he said that he stopped at some place that was a work for stay, and he said, man, they'll work you, and well, these people, they claim to believe in God, and here the experience of at least this hiker was being pressed to service, being pressed into service, you want to rest, you want to eat, you're going to help us in the field, And then they would take those products and sell them at the market, the religious group would. But he said, I suggest if you're hiking, come here on the Sabbath, because they won't work, they don't work on the Sabbath. And he said, but any other day, he said, they're going to work you. And it's like, I don't know, something about that just didn't sound right. It doesn't sound like a light, doesn't sound like and I'm not speaking for God, I'm just saying any kind of God, that doesn't sound like a very cool look on that God if that, that's how they're treating the traveler and the sojourner. There again, what kind of traveler and sojourner are, they're not all the same, travelers and sojourners, somebody coming up and walking down the street in your neighborhood you never seen before. Hey man, give me a cig, man. Hey, give me a cig. Hey, what, you ain't gonna? Why won't you give me? It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're not a sojourner. You're a piece of shit. You're just like, gimme, 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 take, take, take. You know. But there's also a polite way of asking, you know, like, hey, excuse me, do you happen to have a cigarette that I could have? Well, yeah, maybe, maybe not. But here's the deal. You got to be willing to hear whatever answer. If I say no, what do you, and then you walk away, you going, you effing retard, you effing dummy. Well, it's like, okay, I mean, you pretty much just put yourself on the cross out list right there, bro. Nobody's got to treat me like a king at all. But you can treat me like a human being. I'm treating you like one. And there's this woman, you know, she's cool. She comes up and she's like, hey, and she likes to actually talk. She wants to talk about spiritual stuff, and I've learned stuff from her actually. And I offer her a cig, you know, because when I found out she smoked, I'm like, hey, you want a cig? She's like, I would appreciate that, thank you. Well, it's like, you know, and she even said, you know, I get tired of begging, you know, it's demeaning, it's demoralizing, you know, and I was like, man, it's bad, you know. Well, we've all at least once been in a situation or an event where we probably damn near begged if we didn't beg and we needed help. Some people are living that way day to day. And I'm not saying a cigarette is the healthiest thing to give them, you know. Kindness is the healthiest thing for their spirit if you got it to spare. But maybe you need kindness too, you know. So anyway, yeah, wow, patron of travelers. I mean, that's cool. So basically, he was giving the gifts to travelers. It wasn't the travelers going around with gifts to give people. No, you gave the traveler a gift. So anyway, here's to good sojourners, travelers, and hosts. Awesome. Merry Christmas. May this true spirit of a patron of travelers prevail, and may good travelers be out there for the patrons of travelers to receive.